I'm sad it's over. It was really amazing from beginning to finish. I think that we've developed a wonderful family, really, an atmosphere of a very high level of flute playing. And the fact this year that we had players from the age of 9 till, and our oldest participant was 90 years old, is a testament to what we're trying to do here with the Galway legacy. I think we kind of just pop back into it. We come home, and the first thing we do is get settled, unpack, get the flutes in the schedule in our rooms, and cook. I think that's how we get back in a schedule. We cook in our kitchen, and we get settled pretty fast. We've got a lot of experience at this, and then usually the flutes come right out, and we start practicing for the next bit, and having the time to practice in our rooms. That really settles me and my husband.
There are only so many hours in a day, and when you're traveling, you have to meet people, see the sights, and avoid complaints by hotel guests. How do you manage your time to fit in a bit of practice and get ready for the big event while getting proper rest?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I've learned that over the years. It was a bit of a shock in the beginning. My husband was used to it. For me, before I get to the hotel, I always organize with the hotel a place to practice, or with the concert hall. So that gives me my routine, because practicing on tour is the most difficult, and you have to be in the top shape that you ever are and very grounded inside. So for me, I need private time for practicing. So basically, we arrive at a hotel late at night. I unpack all the suitcases, get settled, get up the next morning, and usually go and practice. So that's my quiet time, my focus time. Come back for lunch, and usually we go to the concert hall. And then my trick is I have a separate dressing room from my husband. The problem for me is that all the questions are always directed at me, and this is very difficult, and this is hard for me to stay focused before a concert, because everyone is knocking constantly on my door, and that's my challenge. And my challenge is to stay calm before I walk on the stage. But I know it's a challenge, and as I always tell the students, if you know what's ahead of you, then you can deal with it. And then I have ample time before the concert to get ready, and also eating. I always have fruit in my dressing room. I always tell this to the students, and water and nice herbal tea. I think the trick is, like all of us, it's the same as being a professional musician, traveling and the demands as you get older. You don't have the long time and bursts to practice, but really the secret is not having a long burst of time to practice, because if you have 2 hours to practice, you'll sit there and go off in the ozone doing long tones, and what you call long tones, we like tone exercises. I think be focused, know what you have to work on, and always do your basic work. So what we talk about a lot in our teaching in our classes is the scales and the arpeggios, and also tone exercises in intervals. So say you have 15 minutes, you learn what's in your piece and you work on that. So you have a set routine where you're going to do so many scales a day. You work in that key, you work in that for 15-20 minutes, just doing arpeggios, a couple of arpeggios, and then right away bring that into the piece that you're working on. And this will always bring you to your piece and developing a strong practice routine. As long as you can have a practice routine when you're busy and keep it going all the time. So I think a lot of students, and there are a lot of demands, and there are more demands on kids today. They don't develop the basic practice routine. I say to my class, what arpeggio is this? And they don't know the arpeggio. What scale is this? Well, it's only B flat starting on an A. So if you can somehow not be afraid of what you're learning, that's really, and go with it with a kind of excitement, and think, I want to play this piece, but this part gives me difficulty. Now, and I always say to my class, what did Lady Galway say? Well, Lady Galway always says, what scale is this? What arpeggio is this? What interval? Practice fifths, Just practice fits, sing them, play them. Let the music become a part of you instead of something that's a chore and something that's always hanging over your head. The balance comes from before you walk on the stage, and I take long deep breaths. If I feel like I'll be fine, and then maybe I'm standing backstage and the heart starts going, which isn't a bad thing because it's exciting, but I tell myself I've done this before. I've played this piece 1,000 times. That's a little bit of the confidence growing, and also that I know what I'm doing. Of course, the whole trick is to be prepared before you walk on the stage. As we say, failing to be prepared is preparing to fail, or something like that. I forget it. So say I'm on stage, so right away, I know that I'm going to greet my audience. That's the first thing. No matter what I'm feeling, I'm going to greet my audience. So I walk out, I know the way on the stage. I ask always, are we walking between the first and second violins or in the front of the stage? Is there a step? This is very important, especially for ladies with gowns. Okay, so I walk on there, I greet my audience with a big smile. As my husband says, there are 2,000 people clapping for you before you did anything. So say I'm playing and I start getting nervous. I just work through it. You work through it, and you never grimace at the audience. You run out of breath, hold your flute up there, and look professional. And the nerves usually subside. They usually do. And if they don't, you walk off stage and you don't kick yourself. You just say to yourself, I did the best I could, and next time I'll do better. Sometimes, yes, the embouchure might not move the way I want. I have the experience now, but I do remember this part. I work a lot. I work mostly, and as my students know, with the jaw, and the fact that the flute is pressed very tight here, and these two parts of the lip are connected to the bottom lip plate. So this is my connection besides my 2 points with my flute. You know, I caress the keys, I caress the flute, and it's held here. So say the lips are not moving as well. The first key is don't push, don't force, because the more you force, the harder it becomes. Instead, pull back. And I learned this also from my husband. Many times the acoustic is very dry. You're used to playing in a place with nice acoustics. If you're playing with an orchestra, you can't hear the violins all of a sudden on the stage, and that can be very frightening. Or you can't hear the piano, or the light is wrong, or all these things. These can contribute to nerves. So what I do is I know that where that flute is, I try to press. And a big thing also with you younger students and professionals is not to move too much. Anytime you move, you get nervous. You go into old tricks of moving. You're lifting the arms. You lift the arms, the flute moves. You move. So try to stay as stable as possible. Don't force, and usually this will all calm. And just try to bring it down throughout the performance if you can. Sleep. Sleep is the key, really. Not watching a lot of movies, not doing iPhone and Facebook, just calming down, not having your phone and your Facebook near you in your practice sessions, turning your phone off so no one can call you. This is a big problem. I sleep well on airplanes, so I'm very fortunate. But yes, it's very difficult. We flew to Korea recently in January. The air was very dry, and I was really out of sorts, and we had a performance in 5 days. So again, I had an arrangement with the hotel where I had a room that I could practice in. I have to do this because I happen to live with a flutist who is also practicing, and it gets a little hard always practicing in the bathroom, which does have the best acoustics in the hotel room, but when the other person is sleeping or resting or practicing, you can't do that. So again, I have a place. No matter how tired I am, I sleep, I get up and I'll practice. I'll eat something well, and I'll let myself sleep in the afternoon. We generally give ourselves 1 week before an international travel. We will never, ever go 2 days before. It's always 3 days normally if we're going to America, where it's hard. It is 1 week, but 3 days are very difficult. Second and third day are very difficult for sleeping. Asia is very hard. Asia's hard. So always a week before that, 5 days before the first rehearsal, never 2 days. And this is really important. Now, the promoter, if you're a young concert artist, the promoter will probably not pay for that hotel room. You pay for it yourself, because your performance is what matters, because nobody cares if you're tired. Nobody cares if you're having a hard time eating or your lips are dry, because the climate changes. And the other thing is, always carry 2 flutes if you can, just in case one acts up. Yes, this is very important. You won't get famous by doing one concert in each country. Fame, which is all, I gather, the goal, having your name up there in lights, having a nice career, happens slowly and steadily. We're very careful with travel, very careful with our energy levels. Now, people can say, well, you can do that because you're such and such. No, it's not always like that. I have my own trio. We look at it that way, too. We get an offer in California. I would love to go to LA and play, but I'm in New York. And traveling 6 hours to do one concert for 2 hours when I'm going to be jet lagged and probably not playing at my best, neither will my colleagues, is not wise. It's better to build up a career, a steady flow of concerts. So I will call friends, do master classes, and work my way across if I'm going over to America, if I go to America or somewhere, if I go to Asia. Always what's a very good thing, especially for you young professionals, you play this program through. Find places, if you find the local embassy. If you're Irish or you're Japanese or you're Korean, find the embassy there, or Italian or Spanish, all of you have embassies and consulates. Play something there, offer to do a free concert there, one for the Flute Society before you get on the major stage. Play that program through, and also offer them a 45-minute program. Play the part of that 45-minute program. Never play a new piece on a major concert. And here's the other thing I learned, which I didn't know. It took me a long time. You don't need to have a new program for every tour. The professional musicians, the top people, will have the top string quartets, the top chamber groups, the top soloists will keep their program and change maybe one piece. And this is really important, because these people will not have heard your program before. So all you're doing is you're playing better and better all the time. And so you want to play in your performance first of all, also before you leave your country. So play in your performance a couple of times. I'd say at least no less than 3 times. Get to the place, play it in somewhere at least once. If you can only do once, get there in plenty of time. And always get to your concert venue if you're traveling the day before, never on the day. That's a big one. And so you can get up fresh the next morning and have your little private practice routine. And the other thing is, don't practice too much right before the concert or on the concert day. By then you know it, and you tell yourself you know it. And don't stay up late the night before practicing to try to get the bits. You have got to have that before you get on that airplane. Before you get on the airplane, everything is done. Now you're going out there, and you tell yourself that. And with that, you'll have a wonderful tour. You'll build up steadily. People will say there's something very special about that person. And you know what's special about them? You're giving something to your audience. You're able to create on the spot because you've done your homework before before the long journey, before the nerves could possibly set in. And you will build your career that way. And you'll be absolutely fine. I think that if you're playing music, playing the flute, because we're talking about the flute here, you should just always be playing in front of people, and be putting little programs together and writing a little something about yourself. Have your parents, have your teacher help you write a paragraph biography about yourself, and please keep it very much to the point. because no one needs to know 2 lines about the organization of the competition that you have won. And so I think that if you are, say you start the flute when you're about 10 or 12, and so all of a sudden you're 14 and you're going to play, put on your little concerts with your friends, find a friend, do a duo concert at the local nursing home, at the local library, at local places. And so what you're doing then is you're starting already to be able to write a little biographical bit about yourself. And you all are very tech savvy, so you know how to do this and make a little advert on social media and put your photo on there, get it printed, put it up locally, and start getting into this routine. So then little by little, as you get older, as you start thinking, oh, maybe I would like to go to college. Now I want to put on concerts. I would like to audition for this or for college, okay? Now university, you want to get, you're 16, 17, you want to get into a music school or a college. So now you need the bio. Already you're used to doing this. So it's not such a, oh my God, I have to write and it's got to be long. No, it doesn't have to be long. Because as you get more proficient and you're playing more concerts, I can tell you managers and promoters don't want long bios. Sir James Galway, they want 200 words. Can you imagine putting Sir James's bio into 200 words? We have a hard time in the office. Even my bio, we have a very hard time because we're constantly doing so much. So start doing this while you're younger. Have fun, and also do it while you're young, because when you're young, you're excited, you have no pressure. All of a sudden the auditions come, and then you want to audition for the local orchestra, and you're feeling pressure because you're older and you feel that you've got to make these life decisions now. And that's another thing. At the age of 17 and 18, it doesn't matter what school you get into. Choose a good teacher. If you're thinking of being a professional, then choose a school that has an orchestra nearby and gives you performance opportunities. Personally, I always feel it's good for students to go to a major city or go to where there's a really good teacher. In America, it's a bit tough because financially you can't all go to private conservatories. You don't have to put yourself in a lot of debt. I always say to my students, just go to a good teacher, get performing experience. And so at this time, ask other people to help you write a bio. We always tell our students that we'll review bios and help them. I can't help all of you. So then as you get older, when you have to send your material in for a competition, you're a little more used to this, and you're used to doing this because you will have to do it yourself. And all of a sudden, you're going to find out about a competition or an audition that you have to have in 3 days. Now, we get very tired of people writing to us on tour asking for recommendations that they need within a day. And I tell you, it's a lot of pressure on your teacher, and it's not correct. So you see that audition, act on it. Don't procrastinate, because there'll be somebody else that's not procrastinating. And I can tell you, like for our festival next year, we're getting such a large number of applicants that we tell our students, when we're looking at the financial subsidies to give you, and when we're looking at who we should accept, we look at who applied early, because we believe that the people who applied early are serious, and they are the ones that really want to come. And these people that are asking questions and saying, do I really have to send a DVD? And the answer is no, no, you have to, of course you have to send a DVD if that's what the rules say. High maintenance musicians, high maintenance soloists, no promoter has time, no manager has time, no orchestra, no competition. They want simple, they want easy. And so you're working all those hours in the practice room. Now, I know we're not good at applications and writing about ourselves, although maybe some of you are. We're not good with the paperwork, but this is part of our business. Having your own bio on file, and all you have to do is add 1 sentence of your latest achievement. But keep that bio short. We don't want to see bios like this on a page. We want to see them this big or this big. That's all they want. Because the person who's adjudicating, or for your college application, is not going to read the whole thing anyway, I can tell you. They're going to look at the highlights, and a well-written bio, and CV, whatever you want to call it, it really speaks a lot for you. So really do be prepared. Keep your things on file. Keep your programs on file, what you've played before. Know the programs that worked. know your pieces for your competition. Do not choose the Lieberman concerto when you're not up to it technically. Play Mozart. Play something that's within your range. The adjudicator knows by the first couple of notes. Believe me, they know. Know your things from memory. Learn your concerti and your excerpts from memory. This will bring you miles ahead of anyone else. So do keep yourself prepared again and learn how to get out there and sell yourself. I know a lot of you, it's not a part of you, but you can procure this, because if we have done it, you can do it.